Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be love people for who they are, not their potential. So I've got an email. It's a success story from a guy, and he, like a lot of dudes, found me when he was trying to fix a relationship that had gone sideways. And so progressed several months down the road, he's had a lot of good experiences and a lot of successes. And he shares one that was a really interesting one because he got involved with a woman who was very physically beautiful, but who she was as a person, she just simply didn't have the same goals and the same values. And this is something that's tough for guys, especially guys that don't have a lot of experience dating the caliber or the quality of woman that they've always wanted. And then they start dating those kind of women. And because the woman is so attractive and they're so into her and they enjoy the sex, that they just completely ignore all the other things in her life that she's not living up to her potential at. And the idea is all your personal and professional relationships in your life, you want to have good teammates, people that are going to nurture you and support you, be your cheerleaders, be your fans, help you, encourage you to become all that you're capable of becoming, and vice versa. And most people are just simply average, mediocre people that are just not going to be on the same level as you, and they're not going to be able to keep up, and they're quite frankly just not going to be willing to participate in their own rescue and the level that you're going to need them to in order to reach your full potential. And so especially like in this particular case where the guy was dating this woman and he's looking at her as his intimate teammate, his intimate partner, and 95% of your happiness or your misery is going to come from that one decision. And so it's super important that when you get serious, or even the women that you date on a casual basis, that they have the same goals, they have the same values. Because if they don't, they're going to be dragging you in the direction that they want to go instead of the two of you effortlessly working together as a team to get to where you both want to be. And it's hard when your emotions are involved and you really like the person, you're really attracted to them, but their goals and values just simply don't line up with your own. And that's where 3% Man can really help you out, along with mastering yourself, because it's all a book about self-reliance, accomplishing your purpose and your mission in life. So I got a quote that I wrote, and then we'll go through his email. And the quote says, "You must love people for who they are and where they are, not for their potential. The reality is that most people are living lives of quiet desperation and are unable or unwilling to participate in their own rescue to shape and change their lives for the better. If you love, value, and appreciate yourself and your opportunities, then you should find personal and professional teammates who will help you strive for more and become better so you can reach your full potential. We become like the people who we spend most of our time with. Choose wisely." Oh, shameless self-plug. If you haven't got my third book, Quotes, Ruminations, and Contemplations, it's available everywhere. Audiobook, paperback, hardcover format. And what it does, it actually ties together 3% Man and mastering yourself. That's the feedback I've gotten so far since it's been out these last several months, is everybody loves the fact that the concepts from both books are tied together. So let's go through his email. He says, "Hi, Coach. I started following your work about 5 months ago after breaking up with my ex. What a surprise," he says, "who I now realize I should have broken up with even sooner because we had completely different values. She was too materialistic and superficial, but had a smoking hot body that blinded me." It happens. It happens. Us guys are visual creatures, but we still got to think with the correct head. Anyway, I'm on my third read of 3% Man and watch at least 2 of your videos per day. I have a success story I wanted to share, actually multiple success stories thanks to you, but we'll detail one in particular. You always got to know your downside risk in everything. In your personal life, your professional life, especially when you get involved in business deals, or if you're going to invest in the stock market, or you're going to invest in crypto, you got to know what your downside risk is. In other words, what happens if your assumptions are wrong and everything goes sideways, or the person that you had invested in doesn't do what they said they're going to do. What's your downside risk to you personally and professionally and financially, obviously, especially when it comes to investments? You always got to think about that. Always know your downside. I'm a 30-year-old Latino man, and I've always considered myself a very handsome, good-looking guy. Even my male friends would constantly make comments about my good looks. I work out, I do very well financially, I have a nice car, a nice apartment. I'm very into self-growth and have been relatively successful with women all my life. I say relatively because I now know I was not performing even close to my potential. Well, that's where 3% Man, Mastering Yourself, and even now, Quotes, Ruminations, and Contemplations can give you the cheat codes to life. Because the idea is you want to not have to wait till you're 50, 51 years old like the coach is to learn these things. The idea is you want to learn them from other people when you're younger so you don't have to go through all the trial and error that I had to go through to learn these things. Besides, with the internet, all this stuff is out there now. He says, I always felt I could do so much better, but I had no clue what I was doing or failing to do. Well, I think it was Confucius said, real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. But boy, do I see things clear now. In the past 5 months, I have slept with 6 different women, all beautiful, and it was mostly effortless once the principles were applied. One of these women was 2 years older than me, and we went on our first date to Topgolf. Topgolf is a great place to take a date. It's a great physical activity. It's a lot of fun. The food's good. The drinks are good. Just got a great atmosphere. Plus, when it gets cool like it does in the winter in the Sunshine State, they have nice heaters out there. It's just an awesome place. Great place to take a date. I totally support it and highly recommend it. Because it gives you a reason to be interacting with each other physically. And if the woman starts bumping into you and touching you, well, you can wrap her up and kiss her passionately. And as soon as I saw her, I thought, wow, this woman is way out of my league. Blonde, bright blue eyes, slim figure, and perfect smile. I did my best to stick to the principles, got into my James Bond mentality, and started asking questions and having a good time. At the end of the date, I walked her to her car and went for the kiss, even though I wasn't yet able to fully read if she was into me or not. That's what's always nice about the kiss test. If you spend all this time, you spend some money on a nice girl, and you're not sure if she's into you, you go for the kiss. Because then you know if she kisses you back, she's into you. And if she gives you the cheek, she's structured or not that into you. At the end of the date, even though so the kiss, she says, she kissed me back and seemed to enjoy it as we walked away and said goodnight. Coach, I'm not going to lie, I was so excited I even yelled, woo! As soon as I got to my car. I've done that a few times too. It's okay to celebrate your victories, especially if you're new to 3% Man. These are the kinds of things that are starting to happen to you now. It's great for your ego. It's great for your self-esteem. Makes you a little cockier. Gives you a little bit more swagger, which are all good things because the ladies like that. I did not text her at all. The old me would have texted her immediately afterwards with the excuse of, hey, had a great time. Let me know if you made it home, okay? Or something like that, so I can continue talking to her right after the date was over. So he used to talk a lot of women out of liking them. She did not text me that night, and the next morning I was still wondering whether she would or not. And this is why you just take your time and you wait, because if her interest is really super high, she'll reach out. And the idea is you want to create the conditions where she starts to pursue you more and starts to chase you. Because if a woman is chasing you, she's not getting rid of you. Suddenly, around noon, I got the "I had a great time last night" text, which I used to set up the next date. So this is the day after, and she's texting him. She's reaching out. So in that case, you'd make a date. If she had texted the night before, hey, I had a great time, have a good night, then I would have just said, yeah, me too. And I would have waited 3 or 4 days and then texted her again. Because if she's nice and she's got a good attitude, she'll be happy to hear from you. If she's a lunatic, she'll get mad and upset and pissed off that you didn't text her soon enough. Like there was an email I did this past week. I can't remember which video it was, but that was the case. The guy was just taking his time, and the girl was just losing her shit, getting angry and upset at him, and She disqualified herself, which is what you want. The book works as intended. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to identify the lunatics and the whack jobs to get them out of your life as quickly as possible. I did not text her at all throughout the week, and as we kept going on more dates, she would want to text often throughout the day and even have a phone call every other day. Of course, I did not get into that habit. Yeah, you got to be unpredictable. Especially like when you start doing good morning texts and good evening texts, and then it's like, it doesn't feel natural. You want to be able to just do those things because you feel like saying good morning or you feel like saying good night or whatever. Not because you're like a robot and go, I must text you first. I'm a busy guy, so I didn't have, but the old me definitely would have handled it differently. So back to the second date. We went roller skating, which led to our first session of the Indoor Olympics. The Indoor Olympics is always nice. We continued having great sex, but I started noticing some red flags. She was on antidepressant medicine, had a negative outlook in life, hated her job, yet did nothing about it. And almost every time we talked, she would mention some of her problems, which were mostly self-inflicted. You got to participate in your own rescue. And if you're a high-achieving person like I am, you want somebody that's also a high achiever, not somebody that wants to constantly complain about their problems and yet do nothing about it. You want a teammate. You want an equal. You want somebody that's on your level, not somebody that's bringing you down. And somebody in this particular case where she's got a truckload of problems and yet she's doing nothing to help herself, she's beautiful, she's physically amazing, but who she is as a person, she's just not on the same level that he is. Most guys would be hypnotized by her beauty, thinking, I'm going to fix her, I'm going to save her, I'm going to help her get a new job, I'm going to do all these things, but yet ignoring the fact that she's not doing these herself. She watched TV all day, so I would recommend great self-help books, to which she would reply, I don't read. That's her story. So I don't read becomes I can't do anything to help myself, and I won't do anything to help myself. It's not my job. You got to participate in your own rescue. The longer a high-achieving guy stays with a low-achieving woman like this, the more he's going to resent it. And then you're going to start getting angry and irritable, and you don't want that either. I would tell her to do different activities and learn new things, but she'd say she was scared. One day, she had a talk with me and told me she wants to be exclusive, to which I said that although I like her, I cannot offer her the commitment she is seeking, and it would be best if we were just friends. So he friend-zoned her. I know it takes guts, but you know, as he said, the old guy would have just been hypnotized by her body and looks, and he'd still be trying to fix her to this day. And that never works out. It'd be one thing if he'd suggest a book and then she would read it and she would do something, but she's not. He's a guy who, when something's not working, he figures it out, he takes corrective action. Her, she's not. He says, Coach, the old me would have not turned down a woman that looked as fine as she did. But here I am turning down beautiful women because I now believe that not only does the woman I choose have to be physically stunning, she also has to have a beautiful, positive soul. Amen to that, brother. They're hard to find. Good friends are hard to find. Good women are hard to find. Good people who are good to you, good for your soul, man, they are rare. So when you find one, cherish them, treat them good, and they'll treat you right. Although I was already a confident man, your book helped me reach a new level. And as you always say, these principles will help any man regardless of race, religious background, age, etc., not just with women, but in life. Well, you don't get what you deserve in life. You only get what you negotiate. So if you've got a question or a challenge in your personal or your professional life and you'd like to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.